Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Happy holidays.
Hey, happy holidays, man. How are you?
Grateful to be around and have my health, and grateful for friendship, brothers like you, and just really appreciative during the holidays. It gets like this time of year. It gets nostalgic and just, again, very grateful. How about yourself?
Yeah, no, the same, right? It's a time for reflection this time of year, right? There's a lot of people out there who may or may not have what they truly desire in life, be it love or happiness or any sort of mirth, right? So absolutely, it's a time for reflection and a time for appreciation.
You know, you say something interesting. This time of the year, we get a chance to talk to all sorts of people, whether it's personal, business, friends, cousin, whatever the case is. We're both lucky we get a chance to talk to a lot of people around the world, right? Just for the things that we do. And the common thing that even people with families, even people who have a person or a group, friends, whatever, I sense loneliness. I feel like there is challenges today still. I mean, hey, I go through it, right? There's things that I'm sure you go through. And one of the things I think, hey, but cool to chat about today is what's your thoughts on that? You ever go through some things up and down during the holiday time? We just had Thanksgiving here, US holiday, but now you've got this global holiday for Christianity, with Christmas and the New Year. What's your thoughts on, just today, this just right now with the holidays and things that people might be out there lonely, feeling alone, but is it really as bad?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like the fabricated perception all around us, right? It's happiness, right? It's marketing. It's everywhere you look in every storefront, right? Everybody's happy. Everybody's smiling, right? Everybody's gleeful, right? But I mean, it's a mask for a lot of people, right? There's a lot of people out there who will say they're happy. They'll claim they're happy, right? But at the same time, there is an element there that just cannot be fulfilled. There's so many areas, just holes of that are longing to be filled. And when you're just surrounded by the perception of happiness, the marketing materials and whatnot, it aggrandizes everything, right? It makes everything more and more heavier for you. So yeah, it can be a really serious time in terms of mental health if you're dealing with a bout of unhappiness or just loneliness, right?
Yeah, and you bring up a good point with, people that are going through things, right? I mean, holiday season tends to be, this is the most stressful time of the year. A lot of
Yeah.
people are still, they're struggling, whether that's, could be finance, could be work, could be family, could be mental, could be physical, could be anything. But this is kind of like, hey, the epitome of, okay, here's what we have. What did we do accomplish just this past year, right?
Yes.
What can I do for my family, my friends, even for myself? It's reflection. And sometimes if people are not, having that kind of support, or maybe they're at home not feeling supported, some people tend not to say some things, right? But I could speak from a perspective of a lot of males that we've talked to. They tend to hide things. It's a different segment from a different thing we'll chat about, but a lot of people don't really share feelings. But, if it's a female, they tend to share a little more than the men. But I think, to your point, this time of year, like whether it's fabricated or not, a lot of people would pretend to be happy, are happy. But I also think, they want to be happy, right? That's the thing we don't want to take away from them, right? We all have, call it, our utopia, right? What do we want? Do we want that family or that nuclear family type? A lot of us, some people out there don't have that. They didn't have families or the support or parents, right? And that ties into the loneliness part. So, I feel for that, and I have friends and close family that are going through that. But at the same time, you try to be there and support, and loneliness, right? What are the things that you think people fall into? What are the things that people are susceptible to this time of year, in your opinion?
It's a fair point, fair question. Loneliness it's not just a mindset, right? It's an environment that you're in, right? It's something that's sometimes self-created. It's sometimes that's created by other people around you. But you touched on one point that I really want to hone in on, and that's just appreciating what you have, but also not being complacent, right? And that's something we wrestle with. I'm sure I'm going to bring up continually throughout the subjects, the content of this show, is just walking the fine line between being appreciative of what you have, your current situation, but also not being complacent and striving for what you truly want in life, right? And loneliness is a reflection of that. Loneliness is a reflection of wanting more. So if you're feeling lonely, tap into it, right? Don't push it away. Don't say it's just a mood I'm in, right? Necessarily. If you're experiencing it throughout, especially throughout these holidays, right? Tap into it. Really do some self-reflection and understand why. Why are you lonely? And what do you need? What do you need to go out and get to make you not lonely?
And, yeah, I love that point you made, right? It's, the self-reflection, like tap in to yourself. That's a great thing you said. And a lot of people don't do that because a lot of us, whatever situation, scenario, we do rely on others, right? We do rely on others to make us happy. A lot of us don't look inward to say, well, what can I do to love myself more, to please myself in regards to what could make me happy, right? And that's always something that, I always tell people that we speak with and, groups that we're in, like, hey, we can't allow others to not necessarily take control of our happiness, but we can't put it on them to make us happy, right? We appreciate, we love, we care, and we give without expecting anything back, right? And that's part of it. And yes, it is lonely because all of us want to be loved, right? That's it. We want to be cared for, just like we would give. And I think what you touched on too is, what is it that we're going to discover on ourselves? And it is tough, right? A lot of people too will not have that time or that patience, and then all we could do is make sure, that whoever, for you guys listening on here, take that time, take a deep breath, understand, look in the mirror and say, okay, hey, you deserve what you deserve. And please look inward, right? Look what makes you happy, because don't rely on others necessarily to say that's what's going to be. Yes, you want to be around people, but look inward, so, I think one thing I want to get your opinion on this. I've been seeing a lot of folks, whether it's social media, through the different platforms, a lot of people are doing these things. Like you said, I've seen where interesting, the other day I was over, doing some shopping. I saw like a family, I saw a parent, like this kind of ultimate patience with younger children, right? It's like, oh, I get that part. Would they trade being lonely or being alone for that? I think they take the latter, right? They want to be with the family. Then you've got others where they're by themselves and you can see the pain in their face, right? And that doesn't mean they're necessarily in physical pain or mental pain, but you can see that there's a thing where I don't judge, right? I'm not stereotyping, but you could tell that they're struggling, right? And you always want to just go with them and just give them a hug, let them know it's going to be okay. And that's something that I said to somebody, just, hey, whatever you're fighting inward and internally that no one knows about it, just know that you're going to get through this, just that you're not by yourself. I'm rooting for you. What's your observations out there when you've been out traveling and looking at, just observing, because you people watcher just like me. What have you seen? What's your take on that?
Absolutely. Right. So, I mean, my current situation, right? I'm going back and forth across the country twice a year for these holidays, right? Once for Thanksgiving, once for Christmas, right? You're going through these terminals, these hectic travel schedules. Everybody's just trying to get to their destination, right? They're trying to get home. They're trying to get to their loved ones, right? And we all have the same common goal, but at the same time, there's a lot of stress attached to it, right? There's so much stress in just getting there on time and making sure that everybody's going to be happy when you're there. Perhaps you're concerned about the Thanksgiving dinner or the Christmas presents. Have you lived up to their expectations? Perhaps, maybe, right? There's just so many aspects going through your mind as you're traveling through these terminals, right? You've got to take breaths. You've got to just take steps back. And I know it's easier said than done these days, this time of year, right? When we're all just going with so many motives, so many plans, so many parties, so many just needs to get done, right? You've got to ensure that you're taking breaths, right? But going back to your experience that you recalled out, it's sometimes the simplest gestures, right, can alleviate pain, right? And you've got to be mindful of that too. You don't have to go over to a person and give a whole discourse. You don't have to say, it's okay that you're this way, and have a 5-minute conversation with them. Just give them a hug, man. You just give them a smile. It's all you got to do sometimes, right? Sometimes the simplest gestures are the best. And those can truly alleviate pain.
Hey, we're giving out hugs, right? Holiday season, we want to give out the hugs, and
That's right.
that goes a long way. Honestly, it's I think like the one thing that I would say that I'm appreciative is I have a chance of still be able to go observe. I still get a chance to be able to talk with people. It's random strangers, right? Yes, it's regardless of how wild, crazy, and unpredictable the world is around us today, wherever we may be at, it's, you could tell if you've got a good soul, you've got a good heart, you could tell, the ones that are good, the ones that need it, the ones that 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 you'll make an impact with, no matter that small gesture or not, as your point is, right? So what's kind of your in closing, what would you recommend to folks that are battling, they're feeling like they're struggling. Again, doesn't have to be that's related to money, could be stress in life, loneliness, but what would your kind of point for them to take away from what you have to say, during these tough times, during the holiday times?
Yeah, I mean, everything's about self, right? Everything's about self-care these days too. And I truly believe Christmas, the holidays, this time of year is the most selfish time of year. You're trying to make other people happy, perhaps by giving them gifts, but you're essentially trying to, uh, appreciate yourself too, saying that I've done this, that I've done a good job, right? I've pleased these people, right? You truly have to, strangers, I'm not talking about family, not talking about friends, because you love your family, you love your friends, right? Strangers, people that you're passing, say in an airport, on the streets, in a shopping mall, just be kind. Just be kind, because so often, especially in this social media age, we are all about ourselves, right? We're all so focused on self perception, right? You've got to be able to continually put yourself in other people's shoes. If you can take a step back and understand that, hey, everybody's going through what I'm going through the stresses of the holiday season, I think you've truly achieved something. If you can continue to self reflect that and continue to just think about that, I think that's a win in itself, and just be wary of that. That would be my biggest challenge.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think, again, just let everyone, the message I hear from you is, guys, don't, it's not something to where you're fighting alone, right? We are hoping you're doing well. We're going to root for you. We're going to be your cheerleaders, and we want you to know that you're not alone, right? And it's a theme that we want to go through, and everyone has their battles. Everyone has their battles of stress in life, and especially holidays brings out some of the best joys, some of the most stressful times. And I like what you said, right? It's we're there to please others, but we also got to kind of think about ourselves, like what makes us happy and pleases us. So great points, brother. As always, this is good. I appreciate you so much, man. And I just want to wish you happy holidays again. And to everyone listening, again, love to everybody. Love to
Happy
everybody, guys.
holidays, everybody. Absolutely.